there's been a huge IGDM strategy update, and there's chaos, unpredictability, uncertainty across the entire online marketing space, especially for online fitness coaches. So if you've been seeing inconsistent call bookings, inconsistent revenue come in, and your VA's messages sound cringy, and even when you look back, you're like, I probably shouldn't have sent this. It says, appreciate the follow in every single first message. Are you struggling to lose fat or build muscle? I'm looking for 5 guys looking to do this, this, this. I can promise you, you should not be sending that. And I'm going to show you exactly what you should be doing instead. So I'm going to show you the exact DM call booking system that's booked me over 7,000 plus sales calls, and it's generated me 1.2 million plus a year in online fitness coaching. Now, we were sending 1,000 messages a day, and there's 2 places in the IG DMs where online fitness coaches consistently get stuck and destroy their call bookings. Number 1, it's in the first message, and number 2, it's in the value given. So what happens is you have followers coming in, but you're burning all of them through your DMs, which just sound retardedly scripted. Now, what you don't want to do is start sending, hey bro, appreciate the follow. Are you looking to lose fat or build muscle? Or are you here for the content, or are you looking to get in shape? You don't want to be saying stuff like, yo, James, I'm looking for 5 guys who want to drop that belly before summer. Absolute sin. You sound like every other fucking fitness coach trying to sell something. So you really, really do not want to be following up with, did you see my message above? Just circling back, just a question mark or a GIF. Now, this does not work. It hasn't worked for the past year or two. Even if you're getting great client results, great transformations, people are referring clients to you, even if you're going viral, you have great content, and even if you used to get DMs inbound all day, every day, and you could just post a client transformation story and get clients, this doesn't work anymore at all. And I'll show you why. Because number 1, the first message is what decides whether you have a conversation or not. Now, I know this works because when I built the online fitness coaching business to 1.2 million a year, we had a team of 23 sending 1,000 messages a day. So we sent over 70,000 plus DMs, booked 7,000 plus calls. This was with a 64% profit margin. And this was during med school. So I built the business to $1 million plus a year at 24 years old. And I've spent over 120 grand on mentors. You can see the dispute rate wasn't high. So this was to bring in qualified clients who wanted to stay, who wanted to buy, who wanted to get results. And we were consistently generating high ticket sales. Now, I'm not saying you should be piffing every single client, but I am saying we were bringing in quality leads across this funnel where we were primarily using IG DMs and then advertising. So what I want to do for you is show you exactly how in the last 120 days, I've scaled over 60 online fitness coaches to 50,000 plus per month, and over 12 coaches to 100 to 200,000 a month. Now, this was across just the past 120 days, but we've had clients coming in, JJ, best mentoring to date, Davey, $203,000 in revenue with a 70% profit margin, only 9K spent on ads in the end as well, and 17 calls booked by Tej in 3 days. This has consistently been a system that works. Nancy closed 20 in a weekend. His calendar's stacked for Jeff, and piffs all day around. 19 calls booked for Ben. Jeff getting his first 50K month and now at 60K months. Keaton booking 7 calls in a single day with just the metrics and all the systems that we actually ran through. Now, these guys were stuck at the 10, 15, 20K a month before. And now Tej here buying a new car in cash, and then 30K collected in a month, first 30K month for Mark, 76K PB for Sarah. Can go on and on and on. I'm just trying to show you this works, and I'll show you why it works and what the system was that was new, that was different, that isn't what everyone has been sending the past few years. It's not what the recycled mentors have been saying again and again and again for the past few years, because realistically, you have to understand that every single person in online fitness coaching is sending the same thing. You can't be sending the same thing and expecting a different result, especially when you can see everyone's calls bookings are going down, everyone's revenue is going down because they're doing the same thing again and again, expecting a different result. You don't want to count anomalies as rules. You don't want to count people who are anomaly testimonials as a system that works from this person or a coach who's been in the game for 10 years and compounded their MRI. You don't want to count that as something that you copy and paste a system off of. You want to see bulletproof strategies which are tried and tested across multiple people with a very high success rate. And I'll show you why this works. But as you can see, this isn't a funnel that's going to be repeated with the same cringy messages. If it's you or if it's a VA, you can't just be sending 20, 30, 40 messages and expecting to get some serious results here. You need to be making some serious change with what you're actually sending to get a different result. I'm going to go through the messages which they sent, go through why that worked and what you should be doing differently if you are sending the standard cringy messages right now. So this is how we built a hyper profile funnel. So first things first, Jeff, a hyper specific pain point post where he was running through niche specific problems and breaking them down in list style posts. Now, this works because what we're trying to do is bring people from the top of funnel to understand more of their problem and what the solution could possibly be. We're bringing them down stages of awareness. Now, when we're using top of funnel posts as ads, what we want to do is make sure that this attention is then converting into followers, because your website is your IG page. If you were running a VSL ad, you probably wouldn't have a under optimized landing page that you're sending everyone to. You probably wouldn't have the post changing again and again and again. You want to make sure that's bulletproof to bring people from top of funnel to bottom of funnel. CTA is clear, social proof everywhere, making sure the bio is optimized, the name, the actual results, the carousel and the pin posts. This has to be optimized for the entire advertising funnel to work as well. It has to be nurturing people so they end up actually either messaging you or the replying to your setter when you actually message them. So whether it's inbound posts where you're using stories to convert them, or whether it's warm outbound where we're using a tested DM script, which I'll run you through message by message, it has to be bulletproof so you know that you can put $1 in, get $5 out, or you can send 100 messages out and you can book in 2 calls. Now, I'm going to go through how you can do that consistently, but the goal is to collect qualified buyers, and the goal is to make sure they are actually paying on the call without think about it objections, without needing to talk to their partner, without saying they can't afford it or they don't have the finances. You want to make sure you're getting these PIFs in, or at least as many as you possibly can. Now, Jeff, of course, 60% close rate, 70% show up rate. One of these things work at volume because the entire funnel is optimized. Now, this is where most people screw up. Most people screw up because they're okay with sending the problem questions. They're okay sending the goal questions. Everyone can do that. Everyone knows what problem question is, what a goal question is. But this doesn't work anymore because the online marketing space is so saturated with people sending hundreds and thousands of DMs every single day. So everyone's getting sent the same thing. All your leads have already been messaged. How are you sounding different? How you're sounding different is by making sure the first message is personalized and you're able to give a value piece, which is a bulletproof VSL, which I'm going to go through in a second, and properly offering a call. Now, we can't just be sending calendar booking links and expecting them to book in their own time. We have to be using a proper process around booking calls as well. So how are we going to do that without saying, hey, James, appreciate the follow. You're looking to lose fat, build muscle. It's just silly now. We have to make sure that this is going to work again and again and again, a repeatable process which a setter or VA can take over to do the volume. Remember, warm inbound, just expecting warm inbound to keep converting doesn't work anymore. Warm inbound on its own hasn't converted for a long time, for the years. Some of you guys may have been at the 20, 30K months, 40, 50 even, and crashed all the way down because what worked before, when you could just post a transformation photo, expect everyone to come with you with their credit cards and pay, doesn't work anymore. You have to be a lot more sophisticated with how you're handling outbound messaging. So what do we do now? What did all my clients do to book in 10, 20 calls a day, even 5 qualified calls a day consistently? Now, first message, they start the convo with a personalized outbound or at least a reply with an inbound. A very good message that you can send is just doing a bit of research on my audience. Do you mind if I ask if you're based in the States? So why do we actually send that message? First things first, research frame. It's not you trying to push an interview script where they already know you sell something, where you're actually going in for research frame where you're asking permission. Now, permission is now, do you mind? It's not just expecting them to reply with an interview question. Are you trying to lose fat, build muscle, and going straight into a fitness conversation? We're not sending some hard sally sound messages with exclamation marks, cringy emojis. We're trying to keep it concise, and we are going in a framework most people don't. Now, next message after that. What do we want to do? We want to make sure we qualify them. Ah, nice. What is it that you do down there? I'm from England, but currently in Dubai for a bit. So say something that they have, say something like you would in a normal conversation. Respond with what you do, relatability, and what is it that you do down there? Conversational. It's not what do you do for work in England, or what do you do for work? Is it active or centric? Is it what is it that you do down there? Conversational. So that's qualification. So you know the person that you're speaking to is actually worth the time, because 1 minute spent on a conversation which is disqualified with a student or someone that's retired and isn't working anymore, or is just unemployed, not worth it, because that's 1 minute that you could be spending on someone that could be paying you three, four, $5,000. Now, been in banking, but taking a break post-divorce from an English woman, actually looking after my kids in gym, focusing on my diet a lot more. Cool. Sounds like you've been through a lot of changes recently. Now, after you've acknowledged the response, you typically want to transition with something that is conversational. Are you into the whole fitness stuff too? That would be a great message for you to transition if they didn't already mention something along the lines of in the gym already, focusing on the diet a lot more. You already know they're into fitness stuff. So you can go straight into a goal question or specific situation question. So what you mainly working towards with the fitness stuff yourself? Is it more losing weight, building muscle, or improving overall health? You can also say, what are you mainly working towards with the fitness stuff yourself? I don't mind helping with any advice if you like. Now, the only way, mate, alternative doesn't end well, and that's in response to this. And what you can notice here is the setter is on the ball, so the response time is fast. He's already messaged this person here, so they know the conversation is active, can't agree more. And then he said, was fairly fit, trained very hard at the gym till about 35. At that time, I could go out drinking and eating whatever without concern. Marriage, kids, greater work pressures, great. 85 kilos to 100 kilos over 20 years. Plan is to get back on the horse. Now, this is a perfect opportunity to ask any previous efforts or problem awareness questions. So, what have they tried before is a great question to ask, because when you can say something like, what have you tried before? What you can do there is essentially build authority, because you're then going to get an answer from them, which is a belief that can be broken. For example, if they said something along the lines of, oh, I do cardio 5 times a week, still haven't lost weight. Great, 80% of your results are based on nutrition. What's a typical day's worth of eating look like? That can go straight into previous efforts and creating a gap. Now here, we've said, definitely understand your situation, acknowledging the response. 80% of the results can be based on nutrition, because he's already told us exactly what he's tried before. Now we can go straight into, what does a typical days of worth eating look like? Or do you know how many calories you're eating across the day? He said, no, don't count them, which is absolutely fine, but we have to acknowledge that is a colder line. So when you have a colder line where they haven't given you much to work off of, what you need to be super, super conscious of is not replying with a paragraph or an extended response, because what that will do, it will make you sound salesy. It will make you sound needy. So we have to be super short. Have you worked with a coach before? Bit of a yo-yo, first 18 hours, bit more focused. So still replying to the calories line. And next stage, no, haven't had a coach. Many of the guys I train with are younger. Now here, this is where you want to drop a value resource. The value resource is, number one, going to build a reciprocity factor. So at least you don't get ghosted. You're not expecting them to consume the information in the conversation. That's for the reminders post-booking. This VSL we send, by the way, every single person who's bought our thing in fitness has watched that video. They've consumed it, because it is a very, very good nurture asset, but not during the point of it being sent in the DMs. And worst case scenario, they'll watch it if they ghost you, and they'll watch it and they'll come back to you. So this is to make sure they respond, and you have a bit of authority, because you've sent them something that you found that was specific to their situation, specific to their problem. Now then you can financially qualify as well. Any reason why not, if I may ask? Been fit before, so think she knows how to do it. So it's a DIY objection, do it yourself objection. 20 years older now, body's different. A lot of limiting beliefs here, so can't do cardio like he used to. So he thinks it's cardio. Now, here, what the setter should have done is actually break down the objection. You can do zero cardio and get similar results, but he skipped straight on to the motivation, reason to change, expanding the gap question. Okay, I understand. Why is it a goal for you right now? Like, what's the motivation behind it? So this is number one, to pull away from the finance qualifying question. Number two, to make sure that you're teeing yourself up for a call offer, because that's when you'll pull out the highest level of pain and most amount of reciprocity in the conversation and value for them to actually take up the call offer. So single at 56, I don't know what this says, but also don't want to go into older age in bad shape. Now, then he said, maybe not bad shape, but have a chance to get properly buffed and cut, young 56. Now, this person did pay a lot of money as well. So fully understand, let's do this based on the chat, can arrange a 20, 30-minute free strategy call. Typically, we don't say strategy call anymore. We say online coffee chat or online Zoom chat with either my head program director or myself personally. So this is when we were booking into closes, so we can break down some important strategies for you. It's very, very pulled back in terms of how intense the call offer actually is. And then here, when we pitch the call, we do not want to send a calendar booking link. We want to offer 2 times. So you want to offer a morning time and afternoon time for the next day, because that has a 50% higher conversion rate on call offer to booking than anything else we've tried. So this person paid 4.4K AUD when he got on the call, but this is what a successful conversation looks like when you're bringing someone from top of funnel to bottom of funnel in the DM conversation. So entire conversation is here. Just drop a comment if you want the actual conversation recording, the full one. And then the next thing that you have to be super, super conscious of is how you're actually sending this first message and how you're making it personalized to the person that you're actually speaking to. So this is just an example first message, but so what we do for clients when they first come to work with us, we make sure the first message is super optimized. So when we had this tested, we were able to find out whether message 1, 2, 3, based on what we've told them to do, and our systems using AI for personalization on the first message, not automated, AI to personalize. We got a 29% on one, we got 18.5 on the other, 21% on the other. Clear winner identified easily within the first week. So we know that 50% more of the leads are actually going to reply to this message, which we've split tested, and we can make sure that we can consistently book more calls because we have more conversations straight out the gate without anything else being done. Here you can see a Mark, the old one that he used to send, got 5, and our new one got 11 responses within the first split test. Now, as you can see here with Mark, when he split tested the first message, the old one was getting 5 responses every 20 messages. New one's getting 11 responses every 20 messages. You typically want to make sure you note down the responses every 20 messages, and of course test across a week, across 100 to 200 messages a day. Then you will have a good data set. And when we keep doing this again and again with different parts of the conversation, you have a bulletproof script that books more and more calls. The next thing, every single person who's bought our thing has watched this value VSL, which we script out and make sure that this is sent before the call offer and then reminded after the call booking to make sure that they, number 1, going to show up. Number 2, a lot more nurtured to buy. This is just an example with another brand face in our fitness business. We made sure that that was absolutely dialed in so they could get consistent qualified leads who showed up and had their credit card out, knew what they were going to buy, knew what they were actually going to expect with the call, didn't just come in brokey leads who were just like, oh, okay, let me just get some more info, need to speak to my partner, need to think about it, let me get back to you, and then they just ghost you. We don't get that when we send these sort of value VSLs. Now, the next key part of the messaging system is the tracking. If you don't know your numbers, you're not going to get calls booked. You are essentially just walking around, you're possibly running fast in the wrong direction. So this is an example from one of our clients. 53 calls booked in September, 4,000 outbound messages sent, 3,000 follow-ups, now 1,000 responses from the outbound, and 81 call offers leading to 53 calls booked. So we hyper-analyze all these numbers all day, every day. We love the numbers. And we know the percentage response rates, and we know the percentage call offer to call booking, and we know the show up rates, the close rates. We keep track of every single metric, about 20 more than this, and we make sure we analyze and make sure this works. Example of the tracking sheet, but I can show you what that looks like in a real life example as well in just a bit with the maths. But this is what you're typically expecting when you're sending messages or when your team is sending messages. So you know what you're actually aiming for per hour of the day when you are trying to book more and more calls. So in the first hour, typically wanting to clear ongoing messages, send about 20 if you can get the cleared ongoing done. And then in the second hour, 60 outbound messages, and of course, clear the ongoing. And the next hour, the exact same thing, a few breaks in between. And then the follow-up is in the last message. So we're saying around 200 messages here with the follow-up as well, which leads to about 3 to 4 calls booked. Now, this is what a 4-hour shift, 6-hour shift typically looks like, and this is typically how we also set up our setter structures. So when we are hiring setters, when we're hiring VAs to take over this entire system, we go through stages, and the coverage for each stage is based on what's needed with the lead volume and what is expected. So I can go through all of this, but this is how the actual hours look like. So first hours, you want to make sure an outbound VA who's starting conversations is working in the first shift, because they're setting themselves up for the second setter, which is either you or another DM setter. And then when you are doing the next hours, at stage 1, you're doing as many hours as possible, ideally 6 minimum. Now, stage 2, 4 hours, which is usually 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. for the outbound setter. And then the hot hours, which are 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., because they have the highest response rates. And then you're essentially filling up more and more hours with setters, and then a manager who also comes in here to review conversations. But I'll break down the maths of what a typical 4 to 6 hour shift looks like here. So typically with outbound messages sent, we're going to be aiming for about 200 outbound messages sent here in that 4-hour shift. Now, the 200 outbound messages sent, this will typically lead to about, let's say in a 30% response rate scenario, we're going to get about 60 responses from the 200 outbound messages sent. And then from the 60 responses, we can assume a good 10% of those will go to call offers. So about 6 call offers made. And you want to be looking for about a 60 to 70% pickup rate from the call offer to call booking. So that's going to lead to about 3.6. So let's say about 3 calls booked in that shift. Now, the DM system done right is essentially this and this scaled up. How you fill up the top of funnel leads is another thing we can talk about. But if you feel like you've already gone through your conversations and you've messaged all your followers and you messaged this and this, you probably haven't. Your DMs probably sucked, and that's why you haven't booked any calls. You just need to unsend and go through a proper DM process. And if you're one of those people who's also like, oh, I don't like DMs, I don't want to be sitting in the DMs 2-4 hours a day, even though you're in a stage 1 situation, stop being a pussy. Like, you just have to send more messages. And if you're going to be complaining about wanting to make 10, 20K, 30K months, 40, 50K months, don't want to be complaining about sending messages. I'll tell you that, because you will get outcompeted by everyone. I know guys doing 100K months who are our clients. They're still doing messages an hour, 2 hours a day. They're still taking sales calls. They're not pussies. And of course, they have setters. They have 2, 3 setters. They have a closer as well. They're not shy of taking calls. They're not shy about taking calls because they know what's needed for the business to grow. So I just have seen it again and again. People complaining about data tracking. I'm not a numbers person. I don't like tracking data. I know I should be. Yes, you should be. Like, how the fuck else do you know if something's working or not? You probably don't. So that's why you have this sense of overwhelm. You feel like you need to say that feel like you need to pivot strategy. You feel like your DM setters suck. You feel like you need to fire someone, get someone new, but you can't because then no one's doing your DMs and you don't want to do it. It's because there is zero clarity around data. There is no proper training around setters. The setters you brought in are probably shit as well. We've consistently seen this again and again with the hiring process, which I'll go through now. We have SOPs, which I can send you if you message me on IG, AsReBiz. We can send you the hiring SOPs. But of course, for our internal clients, we have a setter talent pool. We're the best people in here, Clash Collectors. We have an internal recruiter we pay a lot of money to consistently fill up the pipeline for our clients, so they have good talent all the time. But of course, you can do this yourself. Ask for the SOP, I'll send it to you. It took me about 30, 40 hours to write, but not an issue. The talent pool, of course, shortcut the entire process, have good people in your inbox straight away. We're not an agency. We don't come in and set for you, by the way. Stop hiring agencies. Don't be a retard. Like, if you start hiring agencies, let someone else take over externally the entire front end of your business, the entire thing that decides whether you make money or not. You've made a stupid move there. That's not you blaming an agency because they've just hired third world VAs from Philippines trying to send messages and trying to book calls, but then it's inconsistent some months and you have no control over it. That's not their fault. That's just the business model being off, and you kind of probably should have known that. But anyways, take control over your own business. This has worked again and again. I'm not saying this to say that, okay, great, these guys have got some special system that works, they executed on the right things. So we gave them the right systems, the right tools. And of course, I'm not going to give you every single thing that our clients got. They would probably hate me, but this is what I'm saying is going to work. They have gotten their results for a reason. We are very, very hands-on in the entire process, and we make sure they get results. They're not just being given some SOP on being given something to just, let's say, try and book calls. They're not just being given some numbers to go and try and book calls. We are inside their businesses, reviewing their numbers, reviewing their talent. We are giving them a roadmap, ABC. I mean, if you want to book a call, just send me a message on IG, or I've put the calendar link somewhere below. But remember, we work with people who actually want to get the results. We work with people who are actually ready to do the work. We work with people with good offers, with people who can actually get results for their clients, because we are the best at what we do. We expect the people that we work with to also be the best at what they do. And we know that the people who we work with who get the best results are also the best executors of information. They just needed a roadmap. They needed to know how to track their numbers. They needed to know what numbers to track and what they actually mean. And of course, this isn't everything that we give them. This is just an overview, just so you know what the process looks like. The process is one part of it. The rest of it is what actually decides whether your business grows or not. So if you want more hands-on help, accountability around actually getting results in your business and making some serious money, if you're making 5, 10, 20, 30K a month and you know you should be making more, you're a great coach, book a call. Make sure that you are also knowing what it takes to get results, because what we do is high level and what we do gets results. So if you want some serious direction, serious information, you're not a tire kicker, book in a call, have a chat. By the way, not a sales call. We have to make sure that you're a good fit to work with us. So what we do is we actually audit your business. If it's not a good fit, then we'll give you the SOPs or whatever you need to move forward and make some money regardless. If it is a good fit, we'll get another call scheduled in. This is with me personally as well. So make sure that you know where you are in the business. And if you found this valuable, subscribe, I guess, or let me know you watched the video, or drop me a message if you want some SOPs. We'll drop some more in the future. Thank you for watching.